Greetings, gentle viewers. This video is about the terrorist attacks in Sri Lanka that took place yesterday. So there were bombs in several churches and several five-star hotels. It being Easter Sunday, the bombers knew that the churches would be packed because it's the most sacred day in the Christian calendar. It marks the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So you can see that Christians were specifically targeted, and indeed so were foreign tourists. Well, Sri Lanka, its name means resplendent island, and it is indeed gorgeous, so verdant, so fertile, and just idyllic in many senses. So you can see why it attracts many tourists. I've been there myself. Well, what can I say about the attacks? Words fail me. Over 300 people have been killed. Completely unoffending people, a completely unprovoked attack. And there are various theories as to who's behind it. Well, ISIS has claimed responsibility, but some people say another organization is involved as well. So even if you're a lawful army fighting, to deliberately target civilians is a crime against humanity. And this is what's happened in this case. And ISIS, of course, is not a proper army fighting, is not fighting for any recognized state. So even if they killed an enemy soldier in combat, that would still be a crime. It wouldn't be lawful killing. Anyway, well, explain a little bit about the ethnography of Sri Lanka. It's a former British colony, so English is one of the official languages. And I was impressed that most people speak good English. Briefly belonged to the Dutch, before that the Portuguese. The majority ethnicity are the Sinhala people, and they speak the Sinhalese language. So they take their name from that Sanskrit word for lion, like Singh or Singa. They are Buddhists, almost without exception. Then there's an ethnic minority of up to 15% of the population, Tamils, and Tamils who predominate in the east and the very northern edge of the country. It's an island, by the way, Sri Lanka, in case you don't know, off the coast of India, but Sri Lanka is a fully independent republic. And so the Tamil people are mostly Hindus, but a few of them have converted to Christianity. Then there are some Muslim Sri Lankans. They're often called coastal Moors, partly of distant Arab descent, but there are, they have mixed Sinhalese and or Tamil stock, tend to be Tamil speaking, and they preponderate in a particular part of the country, but they are diffused throughout the country. That's that. So what was the objective of this? Well, people say terror is self-defining, just to cause fear. So you've got to do what we want, or else we're going to do this again. So people are scared, so that they bow the knee to the terrorists. And it's very dispiriting to see that quite often that pays dividends for them. Very few politicians will have the guts to say, no, we're going to carry on this fight. Even if it takes a very long time, even if public morale dips, we're going to do it. And the security forces, their conduct will not be perfect. Sometimes we do things which are reprehensible, but overall we are the legitimate force, and we're going to carry on, and we're going to win. And these things are winnable, but they just take a very, very long time. It's incredibly difficult to comprehensively defeat a terrorist organization because many of its members are fanatics. People fighting in an ordinary army are usually not fanatical, and they'll give up when things are going fairly badly. And the thing is, so terrorist organizations, they can set off even one bomb a year, even injure one person, they'll claim they've not been defeated. Whereas a conventional army would say, come on, we've got to be humane, we've lost, yes, we could carry on, kill a few more people, but we're just going to surrender or at least negotiate peace. The other thing is terrorist organizations, they're quite vociferous, and their leadership actually has limited control over their members. So even if they order their members to lay down their arms, some of them won't obey that and will carry on. So they want to wreck the tourist trade. It's like the old Trotskyite slogan, the worse the better. If they can scare away lots of tourists, they will severely damage the economy. That will cause more unemployment, more hardship. People will be desperate. They'll seek drastic solutions, things like that. There'll be a backlash. The Muslim minority in Sri Lanka may suffer for this. And this video is in no wise anti-Muslim. Muslims are not bad people, no more than any other religion is, and no one should be mistreated on the grounds of faith or ethnicity. That includes Muslims, of course. But unfortunately, there's some bigots will try and take it out on the Muslim community as a whole. which is obviously disgraceful and grossly unfair. If someone of my ethnicity or faith were to do something outrageous, I shouldn't be penalized for it. Or if I did something dreadful, nobody of my ethnicity or my religion, if I had one, should suffer for that. Guilt is individual. Sometimes it's organizational, but it's certainly not for the whole ethnicity or the whole faith community. So ISIS is branching out far beyond the Middle East, you can see. And Sri Lanka has just pulled itself out of a decades-long civil war and was looking forward to a more prosperous future. So it's not as cheap as India, but still, fairly cheap labor, could have a good regulatory environment, be very business-friendly, as I say, very Anglophone, ideal climate, quite a lot of space, not overcrowded. So it could be an attractive place to set up businesses. They could have financial services there, as well as manufacturing, to some extent agriculture, famous for producing tea. Well, it's demi-paradisical, and the place is cooled by sea breezes, so it's not quite so baking as India is. It's got these cool and splendid hills. There are many beaches which just look ideal, full of virginal white sand and surrounded by azure seas. So I'd highly recommend it. If you like cricket, it might be the place to go as well. It doesn't do it for me. Go to Aragon Bay on the east coast. There's a surfers community. Anyway, up until now, it was seen to be safe. It's very affordable. It's not manic. And you're there, you're far from the manic crowd. So it's like a saner version of Thailand without the sleazy side. But anyway, it's a pity Sri Lanka's going to suffer. It's going to take a long time for its reputation to recover as a safe place to go. And they're going to have to introduce onerous security regulations, checking people going in and out everywhere, which is going to slow things down, which is going to present an inconvenience to people. So there we are. There's Sri Lanka. What can I say? An absolute outrage what's been visited upon these people. It seems just feeble to say, I hope it never happens again, or they catch them, or things like that. But what else can I say? I hope the situation improves and doesn't get worse, because I'm worried it might be just the beginning of a conflict there. Obviously, the Muslim minority there is quite small, not even 10% of the population, and I'm not suggesting most of them are behind this. A few of them will be. And the trouble is, then some of the others will say, well, we've got to punish them in general, and that will just up the ante and just raise tensions and relations get worse and worse. So there we are. I suppose ISIS thought this was a relatively soft target. The Sri Lankans have dropped their guard. Their defences are down because the conflict's finally over. Well, if we're lucky, this will be the end and not the beginning.